Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to Man Knows Football. You're here with myself, Goonie, and I've got the 8 ball out today. I've had some DMs saying, yo, we ain't seen your bold noggin for a while. So here it is, shining as bright as ever. As Rihanna once said, shine bright like a diamond. That's what the noggin is doing. But people, enough about my beautiful smooth as eggs noggin. Let's get into today's post-match of the Shabbyco derby. We're going to start on the lineup. Yeah, the lineup that gave me a heart attack when I see, or nearly did. Yeah, when I seen it. Yeah, because it was a whole mad thing for me. Kepa obviously starts in goal. Then we had the back four. Chalobah right back, Thiago Silva and Badiashile as the centre back partnership, and Cucurella as left back. Then we had a midfield three of Lewis Hall, Jorginho and Conor Gallagher, and in front of them Ziyech, Havertz and Mason Mount. I was very negative before the game. And then it occurred to me that we were actually playing the back four. And Cucurella was the left back and Lewis Hall had gone back into his natural position. To those that didn't know, he's not naturally a left back or a left wing back. He is naturally a central midfielder. And that's where he started today. And I'm not going to lie to you, although there were other names in there that did give me some concern, I felt a lot better going into this with a midfield three, and I thought Lewis Hall's been doing so well outside of his position, he should do a hell of a lot better at centre mid. The first half, very dominant display from Chelsea Football Club, and Liverpool were very lucky to not be 1-0 down. We hit the post, Kai Havertz as well puts the ball in the back of the net, which was adjudged as offside, given as offside, but then I saw a picture, if I can find it, I'll put it up on the screen now. But I did see a picture where James Milner was playing everybody on side. And that to me looked like it was a perfectly good goal and it should have stood. But me personally, I'm tired of these refereeing mess ups all the time. And it's a thing where I have to catch myself. Top quality teams do not rely on the referee decisions to consistently win games. We have to dig deep ourselves. We have to show the quality and make it shine through and have end product. Something that this game didn't have outside of that moment. It was poor. But we continued to dominate Liverpool. We kept them pinned back. It was a very confident performance from Chelsea Football Club in the first half. Midfield work, I was pleasantly surprised. Yet again, Conor Gallagher dropping in and doing the whole midfield work, really putting in a shift for Chelsea Football Club. Lewis Hall, however, was a bit of the opposite, but we're not going to judge him too much. Remember, he's still a young boy, 18 years old, has also played his first game, and it's against Liverpool in the central midfield position, was losing the ball a lot, was very naive, holding on to the ball, perhaps a little bit too long than he should. Some of his passes going quite astray. It just wasn't the game for him, and I thought that the challenge, the step up, you know, moving from that left-back position to centre-mid in such a big game at Anfield as well, was massive pressure on the kid. So, look, I'm not going to be upset with him. It's one of those games, debut season in the Premier League. These youngsters will make these mistakes. Inconsistency is part of their game. That is part of their development and learning process. These Erling Haalands and all these guys, at one point, they were doing the same thing. However, you cannot expect them to get it right at that age group all the time. Those things are very few and far between, which is why there's only one Erling Haaland, one Kylian Mbappe, and so on and so forth. So Lewis Hall, still, I can't be mad at that. But we did dominate Liverpool. Kai Havertz, for me, in terms of the attack, was one of the positives. I thought for the majority of the first half, he was very present. He was making the right decisions, dropping deep, showing his strength as well. Players were bouncing off him. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He was making good passes, stretching out the play as well. I thought Hakim Ziyech on that right side helped him out quite a bit. I thought he helped him quite well. Hakim Ziyech in all phases of attack I thought was all right. Drop back, as we know with him, he does do his defensive duties. He did help Trevor Chalobah on that right back, on that right side before he went off injured, unfortunately for Trevor Chalobah. But I thought Ziyech was good also as well, being involved in the attacking phase, delivering those dangerous balls into the box. Yes, one or two of them were overhit, but there were several where, you know, he perhaps could have had a reward at the end of it had we had the movement or the anticipation for some of those balls. But unfortunately, we didn't. But yeah, it was a dominant display from Chelsea in the first half for the majority of it. I'm not going to lie, I was happy with that performance. I was coming away from that first half thinking, if we carry this on into the second half, we should be coming away from this with nothing less than 3 points. Unfortunately for Chelsea, the pattern of the season is either we play well the first half or we play well the second half, and we play diabolical or start diabolically in the other half. And that's what happened in the second half. We started off poor. Liverpool, they really pinned us back. That press that we didn't see in that first half, it came back, that famous Geigen press. Literally, anytime they lost the ball, within 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds, they was winning the ball back, and yet again putting pressure back on Chelsea. At some stage, we did have to convert to the back five because Lewis Hall was really struggling in that midfield, so we dropped him back to the more natural position. But it meant that we had a midfield pivot and we were relying on Mason Mount to drop in from that attack to help that midfield. But unfortunately, we were bypassed a lot. Liverpool were enjoying a fair share of the ball, really breaking past our midfield line almost at will. There was a massive hole in that midfield. So you could see that we couldn't continue on like that for the rest of the game. Something needed to be done. Unfortunately for us, Trevor Chalobah did get injured, another first teamer on the injury list, and I felt that he did so well at right back, picking up from last week. Great performance at right back, a dominant display yet again. Today, another good display, was wrapping up everything that was coming on that right side of his. Also being backed by Ziyech as well. I thought Trevor was very good today, dominant, won his aerial battles as well. The pitch, I've seen him slip a few times, but that's just not exclusive to him. Yeah, several other players were slipping and sliding around. But fair play to Trevor, unfortunate for the injury. Hopefully it shouldn't keep him out too long. I hope not. But again, we are in a month where we can rectify it immediately. We've had to rectify it before Trevor has been navigated to this position, and we still haven't, unfortunately. But there are other priorities. I'm hearing midfield is the next priority. We got an update on Caicedo today, but the second half, man, at times it was squeaky bum time. Liverpool were really turning the screw, but I've got a clap for every single one of our defenders. Our centre-back pairing today were absolutely immaculate. Thiago Silva, you expect nothing less from the man. Do you know what I mean? Just dealing with all the danger, sniffing the danger out, just reading the game and just being 5 steps ahead of everybody. Man, at 38, to have that mindset and the body to be able to respond quickly enough to those situations is nothing short of incredible. And Thiago Silva does it week in, week out. And the man next to him, Benoit Badiashile, yet again, this is the second game at Anfield, pressure cooker type of game. Yeah, he looks like he's playing in the park with his mates. No pressure whatsoever, composed. Yeah, winning all of his aerial battles, timing his tackles well, showing a lot more physicality than he did last week. Yeah, progressing that ball forward well as well, man. Even when we was playing that from the back, always making that right decision. Anytime that kid is on the ball, I'm never worried. I do not panic, because he never panics. Do you know what I mean? And we look like we have got an absolute gem on our hands. Yes, it's a very small sample size. It's his second game in the Premier League, but it is a huge game. Liverpool were getting chances. Our box was getting tested, and he did pass the test with flying colours. Big up Benoit Badiashile. Cucurella as well, I've got to give him some props. I thought he'd done all right. It's like I keep saying, I'm a big fan of his front foot defending. Sometimes it can get him in trouble because when you lunge forward for tackles and you miss, obviously the attacker's going to have the space in behind. But today, I thought on the balance of things, it did get, you know, it's never an easy game, but I thought more times out of 10 he got it right. He timed his challenges right. I thought he dealt with Mohamed Salah pretty well, man. So fair play to Cucurella. I already spoke about Trevor. It's a shame that he's injured today. I thought he had another good game at right back. Midfield performances today, Jorginho. I'm not really gonna go over his deficiencies again. It's tiresome. I'm sure you lot are tired of hearing it. I do think he picked up in the second half. I thought he was a lot better in terms of contributing to the transitional play. Also finding himself in good positions in the box for set pieces to clear the ball away. So fair play to Jorginho for that. You see, I'm not just a hater. When the player does stuff right, even if I'm not a fan of their ability and I think they should be sold, I will always call it as it is. But in the whole scale of things, I don't think he really stood out. He didn't really shine like that. But it definitely wasn't the worst player on the pitch. Conor Gallagher, for me, in terms of midfield contribution and doing that dog work, Conor Gallagher 100% is that guy. Yeah, amazing today. Chipped in, worked like a butcher's dog. Yeah, absolutely worked like a dog in that midfield. And, you know, it's just good to see from him. However, and you lot knew it was coming, when it comes to that play in the final third or transition in the attack, I'm sorry to tell you, in my opinion, Conor Gallagher just isn't good enough. He doesn't have the skill set to allow him to progress to that next level. And why I make this judgment is because I've seen enough of him and I've got a good sample size of the player to know that when he's on the ball and he's under pressure, more times out of 10, he'll either go to ground and not get the foul, or he'll just be dispossessed. He is not good enough at holding up the ball, shielding up the ball, or releasing the ball quick enough. Because there was an opportunity in the second half, I believe it was towards the latter of the 80-minute stage, where there was a counter-attack that was on. Conor Gallagher found himself in front of the Liverpool three defenders, yeah, with options coming to the right and the left of him. Somehow gets dispossessed when he could have just played the ball. It's not good enough for me. I've seen this several times. His attacking contribution has to improve. Yes, we know he can slap in ranges. He can slap in goals outside of the box. Yeah, he can curl that into the far corner. That's one aspect. But unfortunately, as Chelsea fans, we, because of the way this team is, do not get to see that anywhere near enough. And I believe that this system is going to hinder his development, like I believe his fellow teammate has, who I'm going to speak about after him. It's going to hinder his development, and he's going to, you know, I'm sorry, for me, I think Conor Gallagher isn't it for Chelsea, and we can find a better option than what he is. But that's not to say that he's a bad player. I just do not think he suits our system. There's certain non-negotiable skills that he's shown me several times that he lacks. Mason Mount is a victim of bad development from a club. We know that he's been playing in several different positions. He hasn't been allowed to just be a master of one. And as you can see, his confidence is shot to pieces. We are not seeing that level of Mason Mount that we saw in his first season, where he looked amazing. He was everywhere. He was hungry. He wanted the ball all the time. His touch was on point. His shooting was on point. A constant threat. Yeah, where you could actually say that this guy in several years could become a top level player. We haven't seen him, and it's been almost a year now when it's becoming concerning. I'm not taking a dig at the player. Yeah, no digs at the player. This is just me speaking it as it is. The foundational aspect of his game, gone. No touch. Yeah, can't execute a pass. Sometimes doesn't even have the vision for a final ball. He's starting to hide now. That midfield dog work that he could at least chip into the Chelsea team is starting to fade away as well. And that to me is a sign of, you know, confidence being shot. And the manager needs to protect the player, because this can be damaging to not just the squad, to the team, but to also the player. You need to pull him out for a few weeks. Let him sort his head out, get his form back a little bit, yeah, and start bringing him back in. And this is exactly what I meant about Mason Mount. He's a good player. I said this when he was on the top form that he's ever been in. He is a very good player. He's got a high level of potential, but we should not be relying on this boy week in, week out. We need to sign somebody perhaps a little more experienced than him, and that's better than what he is. So one, he's got a mentor to learn from, and two, it takes the pressure away from him, yeah, to stop things like this from happening. Unfortunately, Mace, I'm just hoping that this form somehow comes back. But the game finished 0-0. Before the game, when you really look at it on paper, most fans would bite your hand off for that 0-0 result, the 1 point. It is still a better result for us, but just given how poor I think Liverpool were, especially in that first half, and just the lack of killer instinct in front of goal or final pass, we should have come away with 3 points there. But I'm sure a lot of you saw the problems that need addressing. The midfield, poor, consistently letting us down. Mudryk, we're going to talk about Mudryk before we end this video. Mudryk to me looked very exciting. The guy is rapid, looks like he's got good feet. You lot know what I'm talking about. When he got himself in the box, he was in a tight situation and he just wriggled himself out. Unfortunately, he didn't go for the dink on Alisson. Potentially, he could have got the goal. He slapped it instead at that very tight angle. It was never going to go in, but I saw very encouraging things from him. Very sharp, intelligent player. Really fast as well, and his awareness his awareness is just levels, and you could see it. Lovely 1-2 with Mykhailo, who wasn't able to get the ball out of his feet and collapse. Really could have put us in front with that one. But it's just, when he came on, you could see like how he changed the game. Klopp had to be reactionary to that change. What's his name had to come off. James Milner had to come off, and Trent had to come on. But you could see it, like he already had been booked. One of the first runs that he made, Milner knew he had to take him down, chopped him, took that yellow card for the team. Klopp had to protect him and take him off and bring on Trent. But I thought Mudryk was positive, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play in the Chelsea shirt, especially when João Felix comes back into the fold. But people, yeah, man, let me know down there in the comments all of that YouTube stuff. Road to 20k. Smash that subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up as well. I am out. Up the Chelsea at all times. Bless up, people. Southgate out.